Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Fantasy Daddies here. We got Matt, we got Steve, and myself ready to kick things off
Dynasty Daddies.
before Thursday night here. But we'll get right into it here. So today we are just gonna recap a lot of the trades that were going on, just because there's been a good amount of them, especially over this last week here. So let me go ahead and pull these up, and we'll dive right in.
Let's do it.
I think Hugo wishes he was a part of it. That Arthur fist. He's got that FOMO.
Yep. Hugo hits me up for trades on the regular and just can't get it done with him. He's a tough cookie this year. So
Yep.
this is the most recent trade at the top. Can you guys see?
Yeah, so
Yep.
just at the bottom. We'll do the oldest one first, and we'll go
Want to do
go.
oldest first?
Yeah.
Well, there's
Well, not. You're going too far. You're in August.
oh
You
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
go September. Keep going down.
You want to start with this one first?
Hit it. That's
Uh,
Matt's big
going
deal.
down.
What's that?
Isn't there one before that? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
So
a
we'll
pretty big
start
one
with,
too. But I'll let
Oh
you
yeah, I guess I forgot about that one.
kick it off for us, Matt.
yeah. So we got Dylan and Hugo. They made the first trade of the year in week 2. It looks like September 17th. Dylan ended up getting Connor and Dobbs, and Hugo got his boy Addison that he's been very determined to get. That's high hopes for him. I thought that was a pretty fair trade, in my opinion. I mean, looking back now at now Connor's hurt, so he was probably okay with that trade. I don't know about Dylan, but thought it was pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean Connor definitely has that injury history pretty much every year. It's just surprising with Dylan's big hype for the draft last year. That was his first draft pick, and to trade him 2 weeks into the season was definitely surprising in my end. I think it's pretty even-ish, like you said, though. I think at the time Dylan made it because he had no running backs, because I think that was when Cam Akers got dealt or benched or something, right? So it might have been a bit of a desperation move. But at the time, I'm pretty sure Romeo Dobbs and Addison's points were probably pretty similar. So
Yeah, Dobbs had a decent start to the year. I think he's kind of
Yeah.
slowed off a little bit, but he's been okay. He's been like startable if you need to start him at a pinch. But
James Conner was hot too to start, but I guess
yeah,
obviously he's older. He gets beat up a lot, and now he's just out. So I guess it was a little surprising for me him trading away Addison, just because I figured he's looking for those young players to build off of. I know Dobbs is still pretty young, but I thought Addison was going to be that guy for him. But
yeah, Dylan's just trading
shortly
on.
sold.
Steve said it best.
Dylan
Doesn't.
loves trading.
Yeah,
That kid needs the needle hit more than anybody.
but we'll move on. We'll move on. Steve, you want to take over Matt's trade here? Review this one.
Yeah, so this was a Puka deal, which I guess it was a pretty big one at the time, right? I mean, a first rounder for Puka's a pretty big deal, and Alex has still been trying to solve the quarterback thing. So I think getting Kenny Pickett was a decent kind of get for him too. Matt got the handcuff to Pollard, which uh, can be helpful, definitely. Um, Hold on, I'm gonna move this. It's still showing the league chat, and all I just see is uh, Hugo's Arthur Fish shaking. So, but anyway, it was so distracting. But
It's
I
up while
think,
we're talking about the trades too. So it's
yeah,
just just saying,
because I can just feel his rage through the phone when he saw 2 trades go through in the span of like 60 seconds. Um, and he's just been putting like an aggressive amount of people on the trade block lately. But I think it was a good deal for both teams. I could see why Alex did it. I think at the end of the day, in in fantasy at times, you don't want to sell too late, or you want to kind of sell at the right time. And I think on return of investment, right? I mean, he just drafted Puka in the 4th round a couple months ago, right? So we're only a couple weeks into the season when this was made. So in his eyes, no matter how good Puka was looking, he just basically flipped a 4th rounder a couple months ago for a first. That's kind of hard to say no to, but I think Matt, you could probably attest to it more. I mean, a good wide receiver that's young and was setting records at the time you were making this deal. I mean, you would hope to get that out of a first round draft pick. So I'm sure that's why you did it.
Yeah, well, my team definitely needed receivers, and I wanted to compete this year. I don't know if I don't know if my pick's going to be at the time. I didn't think it was going to be a a high pick in the draft next year, but now my team sucks and could be a good pick for Alex next year. So I just wasn't sure if there's going to be a good receiver at that. So I went after Puka. He was impressing me. Still impressed him. He had the dud week last week with like 7 points, but every other week before that, he's been startable and he's a number 6 receiver right now. I think number 13 or something overall fantasy player. So pretty impressive rookie year start to his career. So I'm excited for him. I'm happy. I'm content and happy.
What would you say is your concern level with Cup back now that he's had 2 good games? Give me out of his next 5 games, how many of those games is he getting over 15 fantasy points?
Probably most of them. I would say at least 15. Yeah. Wide receiver twos can be studs still, even if there's a stud in front of them. Like look at Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, and there's I could really name so many examples. He's definitely the wide receiver two. Tutu Atwell was another guy who may have competed. He only got like I don't know a handful of catches since Cooper's Cup's been back, so I think he's a touchdown, but it kind of saves his points. But yeah, no, I'm happy with it. Not looking back.
Yeah, my concern level would be pretty low if I had Puka as well. But I agree. I agree with everything you guys said. I think Alex definitely tried to sell when the price was high, and I think he got a pretty fair deal for him.
I'd rather give it to Alex too than anybody else since he's been struggling.
Yeah, there is something you said about trade partners, not only for someone you like just relationship wise want to help out, but also there is sometimes a gamesmanship of if this doesn't work out, will this burn me? Like I don't know if we'll ever with this year we would ever see a Brian Vinny deal or a Jorge Vinny deal or any of that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, which we shouldn't be trading with those top teams anyways. They don't need our assets. We should be trading with them.
They have the assets.
He's broken the league.
Be a little bit higher for them.
Yeah.
But this next trade kind of smaller in my eyes. Mooney, Hugo's used to be Hugo's guy, got traded away to Alex.
You guys got anything for him, to be honest. I hate this trade. I don't think Mooney's worth trading for at all. Alex just goes out is going after guys that. You excited about that trade, Alex? I don't know. That just doesn't do it for me. A third rounder.
I mean, with today's trade too, I mean, Alex Pearley is just if it's a name that's popped at receiver and he wants some depth, he's trading you a third rounder for him.
I remember the days when Hugo was saying that Mooney is, he's the guy. He's a guy in Chicago. He's the number one. He's
this guy. He's watched him since college. He knew he was going to do this for his team.
Yeah, and I guess Alex was listening, but I don't know. But yeah, like I said,
we can move on from this one. I don't want
that was a nothing trade to me, but this was a larger trade.
This one's thick, 2 C's thick.
Yeah, I can't even fit it on the wheel here, the scroll wheel. But we'll kick into it. It's Dylan and Steve. You guys have a long trade history together, but
this one won't get reversed.
Yeah. Well, we can.
I had a way of looking at it, kind of a simple way to look at it. I think Steve won this trade, bar none. You just compare the receivers that I don't know if equal positions were traded, and then somehow Steve got a first and a fourth out of it too. It doesn't make any sense to me. But Michael Thomas versus Thielen. I'm taking Thielen. He's the number 3 receiver right now, I think, overall. Thomas is still, he's definitely kind of bounced back, but he's not. I don't think he's that great anymore. Akers versus Harris. Harris has been a bust, I think, at this point this year. He's not the rookie that everyone thought. He's not the star rookie that everyone was expecting him to turn into, overall.
At least he gets a lot of volume.
I think Akers and Najee are pretty comparable as far as their opportunities go. They're both going to be, I don't. What is Madison averaging like 2.4 yards a carry? So Akers could probably get some, some looks now. Get worked in. Najee is getting outplayed by Warren, so I thought those were pretty two comparable assets. And then who is it? Njoku and Mayer. I take Mayer. Just younger, higher potential, and then Steve somehow still got a first and a fourth, so definitely won that one. And then Dylan gets a third back. I don't know. This trade horniness gets him. I think that's the case in this deal.
All right, we'll just keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I hated that trade. I hated it.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it either, but
For me, it's I think maybe I mean like glass half full here. I mean for Dylan, his running back situation has been pretty fucked the last like couple of years. Dobbins down. He traded for Akers in the offseason. He just hasn't been able to find that. And Najee was third ranked running back his rookie year, and he was still top. I think he was 13th last year. So his role might be diminishing, but I think he's just willing to roll the dice on a possible running back, figuring out that's done it before. But I think Michael Thomas actually has been decent this year. He hasn't been the receiver he was before, but he's gonna get you no less than 12 and no more than 15, which isn't gonna win you weeks a lot. But I think those players are important.
Moving forward, would you rather have Thielen or would you rather have Michael Thomas?
feeling.
Thielen because I traded for him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking subjectively. Anyone in the league, as right now, is going to say Thielen. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, he's
definitely.
older. You want to say that, but Michael Thomas is an injury waiting to happen, and he's, I don't know. I'm
Definitely.
biased. I hate Michael Thomas. So, I
Yeah.
fucking, he
Yeah.
burned me so many years to start the
Yeah.
league. So,
All
fuck him.
right, and then today's trades.
Yep.
So we talked about this one a little bit earlier. Alex is just looking for some wide receiver depth, and he's 2025 thirds are up for grabs for him. So give him a call if you got a bench one that you're willing to trade.
Yeah. Alex doesn't want thirds. He wants a bunch of fringe starting players for thirds, but not even started. I don't know. Move on. Boring trade.
I thought this one was actually kind of interesting though.
Yeah, this one's not bad. This is a more interesting one.
So Alex and Stevie B. Steve's been active. So is Alex, I guess. But so Alex picked up Ferguson and Tucker, traded away Dotson. I mean, not a lot of pieces to this trade, but I think it's kind of smaller scale, but I don't know. I guess
Yeah,
with both teams, there's players to kind of be hopeful for. So
yeah,
Ferguson
I think
being,
it's just like a bench high, like high reward, low risk kind of deal.
yeah,
Like Tucker is kind of just about the backup to uh, White, who he has as a starter, and then Ferguson. I mean, young tight end, roll the dice on. For me, Dotson was Matt. I think you took him the second round 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was a late second.
And he had a pretty good rookie year, correct? Didn't he have quite a few touchdowns with Carson? He's having a tough start to this year.
I think he had like 4 or 5 touchdowns in like his first 4 weeks. Like something, it was just like he was
Yeah,
on pace to have like 20 or something by the end of the year if he kept going, but he got hurt and then
yeah.
uh,
They haven't really been using him much this year, and he just had a zero catch game. So for me, it was kind of just like buy low on the potential kind of thing.
yeah, and Curtis Samuel's been kind of overshadowing him now. He's definitely taking the looks that everyone thought Dotson was going to get. He's actually been somewhat pretty good. Curtis Samuel on Brennan's team.
Yeah, he has been decent.
all right. That's all she wrote on these trades there. But
Keep him going, boys. Keep him going. Keep trying. Keep
going,
swinging.
let's see some better trades out of some people. But I'm just kidding. But no, it's you know, still a ways to go before that trade deadline. So I know Hugo is this is probably giving him that hunger that can't be stopped until he makes a deal with somebody. So
All right. Let's move on to the power rankings. We got an updated power rankings coming your way, boys. And guess who's number 10?
take a wild guess. You probably got it right.
Yeah, pull up that team, Marty. Pull up that shit show of a team.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm angry today, guys. I'm angry.
All right. We got the Alvin Broncos run by Brennan McGrail. So, I mean, I guess anyone that really looks at the team can just tell that there's just a lot of problems. There's just not a lot of depth there. Brennan's been trading a lot. On the bright side, he does have a few first rounders next year, but
That's it. Just a few. Just a
yeah.
couple.
Yeah.
For the next like 3 years. She's
None
got
of his, and none of his own.
Yeah, none of his own. He's got the late first. It looks like it's going to end up being.
Yeah. At least judging by the standings right now, these are going to be late firsts.
Brendan does seem to think he's part of this larger process. I'd like to read an excerpt from a text thread with Brendan McGrail. Quote, my current roster will get 0 wins. It's all caps tank season. I have 9 picks next draft, 2 firsts and seconds, 3 thirds. Mahomes is part of the larger picture. And I said, you also don't have your own pick this year, so tanking just kind of helps Vinny, doesn't it? And he goes, that's an unfortunate byproduct.
Yeah, it's not taking. We don't have your own pick, so that's you're just losing because your team's awful. So, because on running backs, look who he's starting: Josh Kelly and Reynolds. Like,
Yeah.
Kelly's not even the starter anymore. Now Eckler's back.
Yeah,
I know he doesn't have anyone to put in because he traded all of his pieces away that can even put up any points. And like, yeah, you have a lot of draft picks, but you think you're going to be able to get hit on all those draft picks next year and put forth a lineup that's actually going to put up, enough points to win? I think in this league you're going to need like 200 points a week to win, and I don't see that coming your way with the picks that you have and the players that you have currently. You're going to be rebuilding for a long time, Brennan.
go off, Matt. Go off.
How about on the positive side?
But
What do we have to say about his team here?
There are some good things, and obviously a lot of disappointing things. But for me,
we've got a biggest surprises, one big surprise player on each team and one big disappointment. So Matt, take it away. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with Curtis Samuel. He's been consistently getting a lot. I think I already mentioned him, but he's definitely, if you pull up his points here, I think he's actually pretty solid, like top 25 receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, not what anyone probably expected from him this year. Like everyone thought Dotson was the guy, and he's been relevant. So it's either him or Myers, I would say. But I'll let you guys take your.
Yeah, Jacoby's been great. I'm surprised you didn't go with Jerry Jeudy. He's really living up to that 2 first round trade.
Yeah. You can put him as my biggest disappointment, Jerry Jeudy. How about that one?
He's got Zappy in the taxi though, just waiting.
Yeah, he's been waiting for a while there.
Just look at his bench too. He's got like 5 or 6 guys. They're like 10% roster or lower. You can just drop those. And there's plenty of guys out there you can pick up that are probably better, but he doesn't care about this league enough to try. So,
well, his was my bright spot on Brennan's team, Jacoby Myers. Too bad the Pats got rid of him, but wide receiver 15 on the year right now. It seems like even moving to Las Vegas really hasn't really changed him that much. He's still very talented. Even with Devontae Adams ahead of him, he's been getting it done. So
I think he has more fantasy points than Devontae, doesn't he? Am I wrong in that?
Honestly, he might.
He might be close. It might be close. We'll take a look down when we get to Vinny's team.
Wide receiver 15. Kudos, Brennan. Anything else you want to add, Steve?
I think that's what we got.
All right, fair enough. All right. So I guess we'll move on to rank number nueve. And for that, we have the one and only Sir Berrigan. Why don't you kick this one off, Steve? What do you got to say about Mr. Alex's team here? You guys have been doing some trading, so.
Yeah, we talk. Us bottom dwellers have to unite sometimes, Yeah, I think at the end of the day, he's definitely has an improved roster from last year, but he just hasn't had a lot of like consistent performances that have led to wins. I think for him, what do we got here? I would say in terms of people that are disappointing, I think Rachaad White's been pretty disappointing for him overall. You want to pull him up, Matt, real quick? I think his running back rank is pretty low for someone expected to kind of be the RB1 there, and then the pass volume just hasn't really been there. I mean, he has one game of 5 catches, but I mean, they were building him up to be like the 6, 7 catch a game guy. The Bucks have been doing decent as a whole, but overall, I just don't think he's been as consistent as Alex was hoping for. I think his other running back, I think Pacheco's been great. I think he's been really good, pretty reliable in terms of touchdowns, and he's actually had a lot more receiving work this year than he had in previous years. So, especially this last game, 6 catches. So, bodes well. I mean, if he can become a receiving back, that's a top hit for him. So, those would be my biggest hits and disappointments. I will give Alex some credit too. He's done a good job of just casting some lines on just free agency, especially in the uh, preseason and stuff. And McLaughlin has actually been a playable player for him. He has Mitchell, who I mean, who knows how he'll be, but he's not afraid to take a shot on a free agent. But a lot of his bench is a lot of free agents.
Yeah, I will say Alex is a big step above Brennan's team when it comes to where he's. I know 10-9 doesn't sound like it, but Alex actually has like a pretty solid team. Um, for bright spots on Alex's team, I would say Alex is, to your point, done very well with free agency and his drafts. Um, we've talked about me and Matt have talked about this before in the past, but I think he just gets a little trade hungry and trades away a lot of his good picks away a little bit too early. But
Yeah.
but I still think there's a lot of good pieces to Alex's team where he should be fine in the long run if he just keeps it up. I mean, he's got the first too next year to start building even more off this team. So I'm pretty optimistic for Alex, but
Back on first.
good first too. Honestly, not bad. He's got yours and Matt's. So
Yeah, the pace we're going now, those are top five picks,
so
two top five picks. So
keep your head up, Alex. I know this hasn't been the year that you wanted so far there, but like I said, I think there's still a lot to be optimistic about.
yeah, he's moving in the right direction. I think overall, just hold on to some of those guys that are popping rather than trading them away and then trading for guys that are below average. I don't know. It's just just keep moving forward. Hold work with what you got, and then go with the draft next year and get some good guys that you can start.
All right, let's move it on. Moving on to number 8, which is the prior champ here in Dylan. Um, obviously Dylan's been doing a lot of trading here. Honestly, I don't know if you could say for better with some of the trades here. You'd like to see someone that's kind of at the bottom to have a lot of capital in the future, and it's doesn't really appear that way in my eyes.
A lot of thirds, a lot of
A lot of
thirds and fourths.
thirds, a lot of
Third
thirds.
ranking.
Um, I guess on a bright spot, I think he may have the MVP of the year here with Tua. I mean, obviously coming off a lot of scary head injuries last year, I think Tua's clearly by his name, scrambled eggs over there. But it's good to see him obviously come back to an offense that is one of the most explosive in the league. So that's something I'm excited about. I have Tua in another league as well, Dylan, and happy that you got him. And a lot of veterans, a lot of veterans. I know he just traded for Najee there, so hopefully his career in Pittsburgh can shine a little brighter than what it's been this year. But
I
I
don't
don't
think it'll
know.
happen. Warren's looks like the better back. I think he's gonna be. I think Najee will be a backup to him or just be in a committee.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like Zay Flowers has been nice for him. He definitely has some high spots on his team. He's right now he's sitting at the 6th seed. So while he's ranked 8th, he's still in the playoff picture right now. So not necessarily at the bottom, but the bottom of power rankings.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's had Thielen. Thielen's been putting up some crazy numbers. Wide receiver 3.
Yeah,
Without him, I think that's going to be a tough void to fill right now.
Matt, are you highlighting his points against? Is that what you're just showing?
um, this is
Or
Marty's. I'm not. I don't have control of the
oh,
computer.
all right, all right.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at.
Lowest in the league for points against? Who does?
Brian might.
Oh, wow.
Or
Look
is
at
it
that.
Vince?
No, it's actually me.
Wow, look at that.
Not complaining, but yeah, I guess yeah, a couple bright spots. Zay Flowers, obviously for a rookie, he's been looking good. And then Tua. I guess there's not really too much else that I want to talk about. Anything for you guys?
I would say biggest disappointment would be Najee that would have been on Steve's team, but now he's on Dylan's team. So that's my
I
biggest
think his
disappointment.
biggest disappointment, if you don't take away injuries, is Sanders. Like the two first
Oh
for
yeah,
Sanders,
go
two
down.
first for Sanders, who's been injury prone his whole career, wasn't popping off when he was healthy, anyways. I think it's just like if you're trading two first for a player,
You're gonna be
it
hitting. That'd
has
be
to
a
be
guy that's like
they gotta hit.
guaranteed like points. Like yeah,
You can't
That's a
be
lot.
trading 2 firsts for the 33rd ranked running back. I think that's his biggest disappointment that could hold his team back. I think the Tua is definitely the biggest hit, and I think he deserves some credit for that trade. He got he pretty much traded Clyde Edwards and I want to say it was Clyde Edwards and Mariota and got Tua in a first for it at the time, which looking back at it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was a good trade for him early on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, look
Oh
at
yeah.
all those picks he got with Tua for. I mean, that's a steal
That's a
right there. That's one
L
of the better
trade.
trades we've seen.
Big time L trade.
Yeah. And then it's funny though seeing the T.Y. Hilton, Jarvis Landry for Tua and a fourth for Hugo before that. But
Damn, yeah, that is a steal right there
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So moral of the story, Alex, keep your players.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
He's got a quarterback
but
problem. You
yeah,
got him on his team. You got the guy.
yeah. But
All right.
yeah, I think Tank Dell's been good for him too. But yeah, we can move on.
All right. Well, we got our first host here coming into the mix here, Mr. Steven at number 7. So, truthfully, I was telling Steve too. I think between those three teams and Steve, there's a pretty big gap too for where they are and where Steve's team is. I think there's a lot of good parts of Steve's team, especially your running back committee there. Um, it just hasn't really this year just really hasn't panned together the way that you obviously wanted. But um, there's always next year. There's always next year. And truthfully, I mean, you're not out of the playoff picture. And at this point here, I think any extra losses are obviously gonna hurt you when you're sitting at 1-5. Um, but your team is good enough to win games. It's just a slow start, obviously.
Me and Steve have the two highest points against in the league, so we just face people when they're going off, and that's unfortunate for Steve even more because he's 1-5. I'm 2-4, um, but Steve definitely has some guys that have been, underperforming. Kyle Pitts has obviously been a big one. I think he just had a good game
I
or
was gonna
two.
say the Falcons' offense has been getting better. The
He's number
passing
12
attack
now.
has been getting better. So, still the tight end 12. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
hopefully he's going up. But definitely has been, I would expect more from him based on all the hype. He's gone. Jameer Gibbs has been kind of a letdown. They haven't been using him as much, and not as much. Your top two picks, Bijan and Gibbs, or even Bijan. Like he's definitely been good, but like I'm not gonna lie, I've been expecting a little bit more from him. I want them to use him more. I feel like they're just not using him enough. Number 8
Yeah.
running back, so it's like he's still good, right? But I have him in another league, so I'm just bitching, I guess, because I want him to be used more. But yeah, go down to his bench. Yeah, DJ Moore might be your biggest surprise, honestly. I figured he'd be good, but not top 5 receiver good.
Yeah, I got some
yeah,
starters on the bench because it's a bad bye week right now.
yeah,
Go down to that
DJ
kind of the bench.
is number 8 wide receiver in the league. That's definitely a big surprise.
Um, Dalvin's been kind of a
Kind of
letdown.
disappointing.
That would suck. Yeah, what a teaser with that Fournette like visiting the Bills psych thing. That was fucked.
Yeah, I mean you got Thielen too. That'll be a big move for you too moving forward.
Honestly,
He
Garrett
might be
Wilson might be. I mean, he's still
Garrett
been
Wilson
like
too. He's
not
been
terrible, but like obviously, especially like in redraft leagues, he was a first round pick that everyone was. I mean, I was excited about him, and then Rodgers goes down, and it completely changes his season outlook. So
yeah.
kind of
So
sad, but
unfortunate circumstances overall, but
Yeah, the injuries are going to get everybody, but I think Rodgers would have made him like a pretty legit receiver. And then just losing Deontay and Watson at the beginning, I didn't really have the depth I thought I had to make up for that. But, no excuses. Just got to get the wins, put the head down, and just start getting some wins here.
yeah,
fantasy's a lot of luck. It's just unlucky. But your team's good enough to. I wouldn't be concerned about your longevity of your team. You still got a lot of good pieces and stuff. Just unlucky. Just the way it is sometimes.
well, we'll keep it going. Jump into Matty Daddy's team. I'll let you take this one, Steve. Here, just kick us off here. What you like? What's going on with Matt? Why is he why is he
Why is
sitting
his
at the
knee
bottom?
might be hurting?
With number
Well,
6.
first off, I don't think his name is very league appropriate. He needs to change that immediately. I think in terms of what's popping off, I think trading for Swift was a good one. He's been great since taking over for Gainwell after week 1, which is awesome. I think he's hit on that pretty well. I think Debo honestly is his biggest disappointment. I mean, Marty, you could probably speak to it more, but he has an injury history already. And with McCaffrey, he hasn't been doing the running back shit as much as that year he had the career year. Um, and he's had some games good when he's been healthy, but he's had some dingers too. So he's just hard to rely on. I think he would be a disappointment for Matt if he had to have one. I don't know if I can give him the Puka credit because he traded for him, but he's been great for him. Um, get out of there, scroll down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Matt, you and me feel like we're in a similar boat this year. I think CJ Stroud was an awesome pickup. Pollard's been good, not like the expert top five that people were thinking. Um, but and then Terrence might turn his team around completely. That 3% start is only going to go up.
Yeah, I'll drop him next week.
But yeah, I think realistically, when it comes down to it, like Matt still seems like a playoff team to me, depending on how Jonathan Taylor does. Brian Robinson has been good as well, but it's just going to be a matter of consistency and how people hold up. I truly think it's really just down to me and you, Matt, for that last playoff spot in my eyes. But I mean, a lot can change.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the top 5 teams are the top 5 teams, and they're locked in. It's 6 seeds up for grabs, but it's going to be, well, Dylan's in a fight too because he's 3-3 right now, so it'll be us 3 fighting for it, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of like my team can pop. It definitely can. It has popped. It's put up I think like 230 in 1 week, but it's not the weeks where I get like 140. So it's like just unlucky sometimes. I think just I have players. Just I feel like I'm just starting the wrong one sometimes. Mike Williams went down for me as well. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Working
That
against
definitely hurt. Honestly, once Jonathan Taylor is back in your lineup and he's actually legitimately startable again, I think you'll be fine. But
yeah.
I mean, Hollywood, dude. I just traded him away in another league, but he's been honestly pretty solid. It's almost as consistent as you can be. But
without Kyler Murray throwing them, so it's
yeah, wide receiver 14. Definitely a surprise for me, at least. Swift, though, I would say I was shocked when they were saying Gainwell was going to be the starter for that team when Swift was on the depth chart, and I'm happy that that's not the case. It's Swift. It's a show in Philly.
Week 1, honestly, I don't know his running back totals. He could be a top 3 running back if he didn't have that like barely play one thing.
Yeah.
Realistic. We give him an average week of all his other weeks.
Yeah.
Yep, he's a stud. Yeah, and the whole Debo situation, I mean, obviously, I like Debo as a player. I think he's very talented. It's just to Steve's point, he's been injured at least.
Look at week 4 and week 6. 1 point, 1 point. Like that fucks me.
Yeah.
Like, if you're hurt, just fucking sit down. Don't play a little bit and then I'm too hurt to play and then like fuck your. I'm pissed. All right. Fuck Debo. He's on the trade block.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on. So it's going to be getting diggy with it next, which is myself at 5. I'll let you guys talk about my team, so I don't have to talk about myself.
Yeah, I'll chime in. Yeah, you've been fortunate this year, even without Barkley, you still only have 1 loss. Hopefully your team turns around now with Barkley coming back, and as far as like your injuries go,
and
yeah, and Eckler too. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, coming out 5-1 with those 2 players, missing those 2 players for the first few weeks or whatever, you're sitting pretty right now. So, reason why you're top 5, and then you still got depth, talent everywhere. So,
yeah, definitely a lot of not a lot of like injuries to my star players besides quarterbacks. Especially it would have been helpful just considering like me, obviously I'm gonna start Joe Burrow, but like just his starting 4 weeks, like it's been kind of rough, but and then no Rodgers, no Richardson anymore. So
yeah, you're hurting a QB, that's for sure. But you're starting Baker Mayfield.
He's been good.
I know. That's I mean, no one would
good enough.
It's not good. I mean, he's been startable. You can play him.
What's his league history? I feel like he's been on a shit ton of teams.
Oh,
pull this trade
Matt,
back.
you had him. Marty, you've had him like multiple times. I had him, I think, at some point. Let
Yeah,
me
I
get
dropped
to
him
showing
last
it
year.
to me for some reason. He was on free agency. I mean, I picked him up from
Oh, here we go.
free agency.
Yeah, it's 3 teams. Me,
You
Steve.
dropped him,
You
Steve.
drafted him fourth round in the original draft.
At the time, he had a good rookie year. Or was his rookie year or second? His second
Second
or
year,
third
I
year.
think. Yeah. Times change, man.
I drafted Michael Thomas in the first round, dude. Those two guys owned me. I was still in the championship those first 2 years, so I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I mean, I think the running back thing is legit. I think biggest surprise, honestly, I'd probably have to say Walker because there was so much hype in the preseason about Charbonnet taking over, and he's just been exactly what he was last year, more or less. So I think that's been a pleasant surprise for you. Um, Kareem Hunt coming back and having some decent games is surprising because I feel like he was just one of those dying on the teams, like would drop him if you had to before he signed. He just had a good game, just getting more volume as the weeks go on.
Yeah, he's finally getting actually like a decent workload. I think he had like 12 carries or something like that for
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably gonna be a committee with
oh, yeah,
four,
12
but he
carries.
definitely seemed like he looked
Well,
better.
I mean, yeah, it's better considering you didn't think you were getting anything out of him like 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
It's pretty nice. I think AJ Dillon's time is done, man. He's just not the guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's legit. Yeah.
Yeah, he just had
Well,
one good game, but it's like he's just had so much opportunity this year. And he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
he's
It's
just slow.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Fucking his thighs are too big. But yeah, I would say biggest regret would be Burrow, and then for obvious reasons. And then
My boy Diggs. He's been so good.
yeah, he's consistent. He's really good. Biggest surprise is Baker. He's leading that team to victory, dude. What's their record right now? What is it? 4-3 or something